Hello YouTube friends, it's Mark in the shed. I've been asked to say a little word about shunting and uncoupling. So that is an R617 coupler there, another one there. This one here is a homemade uncoupler. I'll get back to that in a minute. When you're doing shunting and uncoupling, there's one or two obvious things that some people don't attempt to do or don't even consider. The thing is with this, you have to have decent slow running locos, that's a given. You also have to make sure that when you're setting up a train to do this type of a thing, that the couplings are compatible and that they are lined up properly. If they're not lined up, you won't get a decent uncouple, and you'll find some places along your train as it comes over the uncoupling point, you'll get a wagon uncoupling where you don't want it to. I tend to use the large tension lock couplings. Always have done, always will. Most of my stuff, my wagons, coaches, stuff like that, is from the 1970s, and they have the large tension lock couplings. Now the best of these in my mind is the old-fashioned metal coupling. The plastic ones, you can't adjust them, you can't do anything with them. The metal ones can be adjusted slightly, so you can, if you have a variation in height between the coupling on the back of your logo and the coupling on the front of your wagon, you can adjust that slightly and get it spot on. So there we have a high mech, and we're going to bring the high mech out this way. It's going to run out of shot. This is a triang high mech. Now the hand of God's going to come in various points in this video and swap over bits and pieces as we go. I'm going to try and not edit out too much of it so that you can see exactly what I do when I'm shunting. So there we are, there's the high mech coming up there, and it's going to pick up the timber train. We're going to push off the back end of the uncoupler and we're going to bring it out. And if all goes well, they should all come away from that siding without leaving anything behind. Success on a plate, I think you would find there. Now, the problem with uncouplers, any uncoupler, doesn't matter what kind you've got, and I can only speak about what I have. I can't speak about any brand that I don't have. So please don't give me any comments say, oh well, this one's better than that one and that one's better. And please don't give me any comments either about, oh well, you know, you should have motors in them and then they'll go down and come up when you flick a switch. Well, come on guys. I've said it many times before, I'm in a grotty old shed. I don't put point motors in, I don't motorise any of the accessories on my layout. Simple as. So I don't want any unnecessary comments of that nature, thank you. So here we go, we're going to take the timber train back again. And we're going to put it into that siding there. Now hopefully that will uncouple. There we go. It tried not to. It's also handy when you're uncoupling to have reference points on your layout so that you know when you're coupling hooks or in the up position. I've got a little line just drawn there. On this one, it's the seam there underneath the boards. I can't go any further back than that because it won't uncouple. And on this one, it's of course the height gauge. So that's a little bit about uncoupling so far. Now, I know you can't see them very good from there, so here. That is the R617 uncoupler. Just a little piece of plastic with a copper strip underneath acting as a spring. Now with any uncoupler, as I said, some logos don't like them, some logos do. I've never been successful at uncoupling with most of my triangle logos simply because they do not like to ride over the uncouplers. Having said this, some of them you can get it to do with. I'm going to bring back the high mech again, and this is going over the homemade uncoupler. Now we'll bring it out. So that one's a homemade uncoupler under there. Now through messing about and experimenting over weeks actually, I come up with this. That is just a simple piece of very flexible plastic from a tub that came with some chocolate chip cakes from the supermarket, and what I've done is I've put underneath a piece of sponge. That's all that is, just a piece of sponge there. And I've glued this piece of sponge on, but in actual fact that isn't necessary. You don't have to glue it, and you'll find through experimenting with these that you get to a point where you want to fine-tune what you've got. You can cut down the sponge, you can bend the plastic successfully in different places, and you'll get it the way you want it. So that's the uncoupler that's been homemade, and when it's in the track it sits kind of like that, and it has the same effect as the copper spring on the manufactured ones. When the tension lock couplings run over it, it presses down slightly, and when they're not over it, it comes up slightly. The homemade uncouplers are simply slotted under the rails either side, and you can actually use that to gauge how high or how low you need this piece to be before you insert your piece of sponge underneath. As you can see, it works in a very similar way to the manufactured uncouplers. The beauty I think of this is it can be altered, and if you do make a mistake in doing the alterations to it, it's nothing, it's cost you nothing. So all you got to do is get another one and start again. So every uncoupler has potential difficulties. Like I said, the 617 triangle logos don't particularly like it. It's also a little bit narrower, which means when you run coupling hooks over it, they can slide down the side, therefore they don't uncouple. I'm going to show you the other uncouplers that I have around the other part of the layout in a minute. I'm going to move this back. Let's see if we can get a successful uncouple on this one. I may have run too far there. No, I didn't. So that was an uncouple over a homemade uncoupler. So I'm going to show you what I've got on the back lines as well. Right, when we go around the back of the layout, we have at the bottom end there, just by that lifting derrick, we've got an R620 there. Just here by the water tower we have another homemade one, and just behind the signal box we have another R620 there. I'm going to get you some close-ups as well so you can see some of these things close up. And down at this end we have another R620 there, another homemade one there and there. The R620s, they are the great big ugly ones. I think they're ugly. They're monstrous. I'm just going to see if I can get the camera in to show you. That there behind there, that's the R620. Again, some logos don't like them, specifically Trian, and I'm going to demonstrate that as well. I'm going to demonstrate some logos that don't like uncouplers. So we have an R620 behind there, and here we have another two homemade ones. So first of all, I'm going to take the high mech away and bring in something else. I'm going to bring in, set that point over, I'm going to bring in an old class 37 and we'll see what I can do. She is a bit noisy and rumbly, this one, and watch what happens when she tries to go over this uncoupling section here. She really snagged there. And we'll get it to bring a train out as well. There it is again, it's snagged. That's because the gears on that one, although it was built in 1977, it's done to the old style Trian with the old style motors, and the gears protrude out of the bottom and catch on the uncouplers. So that's what can happen. So now I'm going to bring it back. And we're going to see what it does on the homemade uncouplers. And you can see as the carriages pass there, the coupling hooks are going up. And just like the manufactured ones, that's pushed the hooks up. We should now be able to take the logo away. So to my mind there's very little difference. There's no expenditure, because what you're using for the homemade uncouplers is actually a byproduct of something else you bought. I tried various things before I settled on these. I tried margarine tubs, lids of margarine tubs, different thicknesses of plastic. I didn't try plastic card because, as we know, plastic card is becoming quite expensive, so I didn't try that at all. Pull it off, push it back on, and that should uncouple again. So I didn't even bother with plastic card, so no bloody comments please about, oh, you could have used plastic card. I didn't want to use plastic card, it costs money. What I've used is a byproduct of something else that's been bought, i.e. in this case chocolate crispy cakes. I haven't tried lemonade bottles yet. I may do. I may try plastic lemonade bottles. What I would say is, if you're going to try this, your plastic has got to be as thin as you can make it. And the sponge, the best results I've got is from an old washing up sponge. So there it is again. That's that. Just a piece of sponge and a piece of thin plastic. And I think that's a decent result there. What the hell is that? Got something stuck in there. And it doesn't matter whether you like shunting or not. If you don't like it, you won't watch the video. If you do like shunting, I'm sure you have your own way of doing it. This is just, as I say, my way of doing things to save money, basically. I find it very relaxing. Other people don't find it so relaxing, but I do. And shunting for me is the thing I do most. Yes, I make videos. I put trains to music. I do bits of videos about certain logos. But most of my time in the shed, if I'm not actually carrying out work on the layout, then most of the time in the shed is spent shunting. A shunt. Very therapeutic, I think. And like I say, using those, I'm getting the best results on my layout with my stock. Doesn't mean everybody's the same. So there we are. A little bit about uncoupling. So I think just to finish off, I'll show you, if I can set the camera up properly, a shunt that I like to carry out. Right, the object of this shunt, and just to be clear on it, I don't know if it's a prototypical shunt or not. Probably not. It's something I've made up out of my own imagination, like the rest of my layout. But the object of the shunt is to get the timber train from there around the layout and swap it with that train of empties there. Easy shunt perhaps? Not quite as easy as you think, because in the loop we've got 3 passenger coaches there, so we're going to have to take that into consideration when we shunt the train. Okay, so the first thing to do is pick up the timber train. Making sure that the couplings are clear of the uncoupling ramp, and look at that, you see? Now that hasn't happened all day, but this is what can happen when you're shunting. Right, let's see if we have it now. We have it. So that's the timber train in there. And out comes the engine. Now the engine is going to go and pick up the empties. You can just about see them in the background. I've got to be very careful here, because once that's coupled, I've only got about 4 inches to move back over. But there we are, that's the high mech coupled. And out comes the empties. And we're going to put the empties in on top of that timber train. I guess this is all an imaginary shunt. I'm sure it's not at all typical of any of the things that are actually done on the railways. Now we've got to get that just right, and she should come off. There we go. And that being done, we've now got to get 3 coaches. So from the other end here, this is quite difficult when you're doing it through a viewfinder. So that should now be okay there. So back along goes the high mech. And here comes the engine to pick up that whole consist there. I'm going to take that away. And that's that long consist deposited there. So now we get those passenger coaches. A little bit of a hard couple up there, but never mind. That'll do us, I think. Try not to be too fast with it. And we'll deposit those just behind the signal box. Logo nearly got caught on the manufactured uncoupler there, but it didn't. That's that manoeuvre completed. So now all we have to do is get that timber train down to the bottom end. By those freight platforms there. So let's do that. Slowly catch your monkey. That should be just about it. So all we got to do is bring the empties away. That's about it. I hope you enjoyed my shunting video. Perhaps not as sleek as some of my previous videos, but it gives you an idea of some of the things that go on in the shed and get edited out. And it's what I do most days of the week, is shunt. To my mind, it's a very interesting part of the hobby. It's very relaxing for me. I can imagine some people would find it a pain in the backside to do, and some people would find it an absolute headache, but for me, I find it a very relaxing part of the hobby to do. And just getting your trains to couple and uncouple where and when you want them to is quite an achievement, especially if you're using something like, I'm just bringing back because he's the star of the show, something like the Triang Class 35. So I hope you found that interesting. I hope you find it useful, and to be honest, I hope you try doing the unmade uncouplers, because I find them the best way of using uncouplers. The manufactured ones can break and then you got to buy more. The old type, the R620, is an eyesore of a thing, and the R617 is rather flimsy. So once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you again in the future. And please look out for my next running video, which, if I'm not mistaken, will be Terrific Triang. Thank you.